Got it.
Good evening, everyone. Our guest tonight is Tessa Marie Shillingford, and this is her book, Controlling the Debt Monster. Do tell the folks about you and tell them about this book, and we'll dig in.
Well, I'm Tessa Marie. I am a retired financial person. I work with the Toronto Dominion Bank for 30 years or so. It's called TD Bank now. And of course, it was TD Bank when I retired. And I am a certified financial planner. It's a designation. So it's not a financial advisor. I'm also a financial counselor. So you study for those. Finance has really been part of my life. I've always been involved in finance, from doing taxes for my father and his business at a very early age. So math is my specialty. I have a degree in mathematics and stuff like that. So this book came about in 2002, still employed, looking at the situation happening all around us and realizing that the money was flowing to customers one on top of the other in all the institutions all over. And I just realized that something is going to happen. And I had all these stories of people I'd helped before, and some of them are family, some of them. So I just decided I would write the book. And what I had been doing, though, was helping others for free. I still kind of do that. I've just now started charging people to help them. And I've always done it for others for free, to give them the opportunity so that they would be able to be financially healthy and not find themselves in the situation in the book that many people have been in. And people are still in, more so now than 2002. When the book was published in 2009, it was bad, but it's worse now than ever before, as we all know. So that's the book.
Yes. And Tessa, I want to look at even your introduction, Tessa, why you wrote this book. And you talked about in the book that you were telling your manager at the financial institution that you were going to write a book on financial planning. And so I beg to differ with that person, because as I told you earlier, this right here made me feel as if I was in a consolidation debt sort of, I don't want to say seminar, because that's stretching, but just plan that it just grabbed. And all I read was the first 2 chapters. I advise all of you guys that's reading it or that come across this book, do not try to read it as a novel. Do follow the steps on there. And so in doing that, I wanted to look at chapter 1, where you gave us 2 characters. You talked about Angela and Locust, and they were just dating, right? And cohabitating, or
yes, they were planning to get married at the time.
Trying to get married at the time. And you had a little simple talk with them about their finances and to put them together, their expenses and their debts, and kind of just write it out down to a piece of bubble gum, and you're going out. Now with me, when I read that chapter, We Need Help, I looked at it and I was frightened. I was, because in my mind of doing this, I didn't want to show you what all I was doing. I just bought a burger today. And I'm buying outside of those expenses that are maybe accounted for, and maybe that I thought was some win fair money, but this really helped us. And so in your summary, you talked about stay calm. Tell us about, I'm going to talk about these bullet points. So on page 5, you say stay calm.
So I know exactly what you're saying. Stay calm. Stay calm is exactly what you were thinking. You didn't want to tell me everything. If I was sitting there with you and you would be hiding something, or you would say to me, like even at the bank, people would come up and they're sitting there, and I wish I could enact it for you to see. So I would say, well, how much money do you owe? Well, I think it's pretty close to 10,000. That's what I think. And then somebody will nudge, the wife nudge you, but honey, the last time it was 22,000. Are you sure? And so they know, but they're so ashamed to bring it out that they would not tell me. And then that, as I would say, well, what else you spend money on? And we're going through this. And they would not tell me because they don't want me to judge them. And so I have to say, look, guys, just be calm. I am here to help you. And that is where I started calling myself a financial GPS. Tell me what is wrong and where you want to go, and I will take you there, I will fix it, and I will set you free. And that's what I did. So I had to say, stay calm, do not get upset, because sometimes they would say to each other, well, it's your fault. You keep spending and you send money to your mother in Timbuktu and you're buying this. And the last time I checked, you had a pair of shoes and you, when your guys went out to dinner. So I have to say, okay, this is not the time for this. So be calm and stay calm, and let's look at it like something we all three have to get together to work on. So that's
and so with Angela and Lucas, we found out that they both had a different style of spending. And when you asked them to bring it together, it was as if one was afraid, one didn't know what was going on. Lucas said he had some, he just have at least
soccer game,
$1,200, or at least 500 for just money to have on a fly.
Yeah.
And Angela, she was just sitting there and it was just too much for them. And I love when you said when they came in with that takeout food, which their mom told them, go ahead, buy, and she had bought too much food.
Their mom didn't even know she was coming. They were coming, because remember, I was sitting like having tea, and the doorbell. So I didn't know they were coming. While they were here, that's when she called to tell me did they show up. I just found out from her sister that they said they're coming to see you at this hour of the night.
Yeah, and she got the food, and you're wondering, you tell us about takeout is a no-no.
Well, it's not that takeout is a no-no. Takeout is not a no-no. It's takeout with reasonable. You have to have that reasonable thing. This is why I got, it's for people like Angela, Lucas, and many others. Some of them you met on this thing that told you they have been with me. I created that sustainable financial spending plan. If you do not have a sustainable financial spending plan, you are not able, you couldn't have weathered COVID. It would have been really tough. But the people who had one, who created one with me and went through it, it was easy peasy because everything had an allotment, even entertainment. The thing is, it's not a budget. What they had to create was a financial plan, a sustainable one that would weather the rocks and life. But everything has its little place. Everything has a chapter. I don't mean a chapter in the book, but your entertainment, eating out, there's money going in there every payday for that. And all you have to use is that. So vacation has its own spot. So that is what it is. So but they spent so much money on all this food. You think they were going to feed a table of 10. So I had to reel them in. And this was continuous. This was going all the time until I just said, no more takeout food. Do not bring them here and don't buy them.
Yes. And the next component you talked about is it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, it is okay to ask for help. Like, you are an interviewer, Eileen. You interview people. I am the financial planner. You cannot do what I do. I do as good as I can do it. That's what you're doing with me is not something I can do well either. So you don't know that. This is not taught. And it is not understood, even if it is taught, because everybody is so afraid to know the truth about finances, including parents hiding finances from children, which is automatically wrong. So it's okay. We have to know, if you do not know how to do something, ask somebody to show you. And finance is the one that we ask the least questions about. And we have also have the least information about.
Yes. You talk about every member of the family needs to participate in fighting the debt monster. What does
Well,
that look like, Tessa?
it is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a monster you let into your house through the use. It starts primarily with credit cards. And it's like you doing ESP presents. Somebody else is doing another type of present. So they want me and you want me and somebody, and that is what it is. So if company A has given you a credit card and it's registered at the credit bureau, when they get the credit reports, they can see that you just got a card from company A. So now company B wants to send you a card and they do, and company C, and it goes on and on. And sometimes you're not even asking for the card. And some people, some new immigrants, for example, or young people who do not know, think they do not have to pay for it. One girl said to me, I didn't ask for it. So why should I pay for it?
Mm.
You see, so that is what happens. So it becomes the monster when you cannot control it. It's eating you. It's draining all your money, all your food. If you haven't got money, you must honor that credit card. That monster, you can't sleep. The phone rings at 6 p.m. because the collection agency, it's a monster.
Yeah.
But you can't be only one human being fighting this monster in a family of 5. You will lose. There are 4 other people there that know nothing about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the children do not understand it, they must know that it's financial discussion night. And this is how we family do it. Even if it's once a month, you have to draw them in. So they are aware that you just don't spend and spend and spend. And it's okay. It's not okay. You don't have to give them all the gritty facts, but you have to say, well, we're putting money every payday aside for your summer camp. So they know that. We are putting money aside for pizza day at school. It may seem silly to you, but all of a sudden you have gone through it. I've gone through it. Mom, we need $20 for pizza. Mom, we need $20 for books. You cannot let them be the thumb in the classroom. Everybody else has books and your child sitting there. So you need to plan for it, but they need to know. And that makes them feel good. They're inclusive. They're part of the team. And they will understand when you say to them, no, Jimmy, the money we have is allocated for something else. I cannot buy you a toy because you're at Walmart. That is not the time for it. But he would know that if he knows there is money set aside for birthdays and stuff. So that's what I mean. Bring everybody in.
Tessa, when we talk about credit cards, since we're on that talk, I hear of people, they live off their credit cards. What do you say about that? Folks that are using their credit cards to live off of?
Well, number one, people must understand that a credit card it's not your money. You have to pay it back. So I get what you're saying, but we have to remember that every credit financial institution that has credit cards, they make money. Even if they say you get a cash back of 2%, or they tell you you make points, or you do all of this, it is forcing you to shop with them using their card rather than another company card, rather than your own money for that matter. But where people get in trouble, you have to be wise and you have to be taught how to use a credit card to be successful at it. People get in trouble because they use the credit card, but they still spend the cash. So when time comes to pay the credit card, there is no cash to pay it. You can't do both. So some people who say they live off their credit card, that means every paycheck is placed into the credit card to pay the bills because everything is done through the credit card. Mm-hmm. And there might be sufficient money from the paychecks to cover the entire thing or not. And if it is not, there isn't sufficient to cover the entire thing, that costs them a problem. Then the monster starts to grow. Mm-hmm. But if they're able to use the credit card just to get points and rewards and all of that, they shop with the credit card. The thing is, just like that person said that and you heard them, What about the 19-year-old who has heard them, but do not have that amount of disposable income, and they use a credit card for everything and no means to pay? They're starting their financial journey with bad credit, and you know that happens. Yeah. So yeah, people do use their credit cards instead of a checking account. They shop everything they want on that credit card, and then they use their paychecks to pay it off every month, and the cycle starts again.
Tell us how we should use that card, the proper way to use a credit card.
The proper way to use a credit card, you need to know two things about a credit card. You need the most important thing on the credit card. And if I ask you, all the listeners out there, what that is, I am positive you will not be able to answer me. The thing is, I worked in the bank, so I'm coming from the inside out. So what do you think is the most important piece of information for the consumer on a credit card statement?
Now, since I'm your audience now, whether I'm right or wrong, tell me. I think the most important thing to me, and I'll just use myself as an example, is I always look at, and I don't like credit cards, but I always want to know what the percentage is.
The interest rate, you mean?
Interest rate, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
always want to know the interest rate.
Well, that is negligible if you follow the way I teach it.
Okay.
The most important thing on your credit card is called the statement date or the statement preparation date. I think I have a statement. I don't know if I have a statement on the table. I don't think so. I do when we have to get up. I don't want to do that. So on the credit card statement, on the top left-hand corner, on most credit cards, even if it's on the computer, it's sometimes a little bit on the right, and that's the statement date. Now, the statement date, it runs from 1 month into the other. So let us say our statement dates started from the 14th of February to the 15th of March. It's always like that. It could be the 24th, 26th to the, it is always a number like that. That means on the 15th tonight, at 12 p.m. tonight, the statement for all the things that you charge is prepared. Now, if you know that date, I carry that date on a little piece of cardboard in my purse. Just the date. From the 24th to the 27th or the 23rd, I just give it a few days like that. And that date, so tomorrow morning is the best next 5-6 days to shop using your credit card. So it's after your billing date, you shop. So after your billing date, you shop for, some people go 10 days. I say 5 to 7 days. You have 30 days before you need to pay to get to, before the bill is prepared. So you shop tomorrow, just 30 days before your bill is prepared. That day, then there's 2 weeks before you receive the bill, and there's another 2 weeks or 7 days when the payment is due. So what that gives you, if you shop wisely, is 42 days before you have to pay the card off. But if you are a smart consumer and you follow what I will teach you, and you go and you shop for the first 5 days after your billing date, then what you would do is you have 7 weeks really before the statement, before the payment is due. So you total the $1,000 or $1,200 that you spent on your credit card shopping, and you divide it by 3, and that tells me and tells you every payday you pay them automatically online or in the bank, whatever you do, $400. So you put $400 this payday, $400 next payday, or $400 the following payday. So that is 6 weeks. By the time this bill comes to you, you have paid it off. and you do not have any interest. You do not have to make a payment again. So I am using 1,200, but you know we don't shop at 1,200 one time. It might be a simple thing like maybe 500, 600. So you plan your shopping for after the immediately following the billing date. And you pay that amount, you divide it by 3 if you get paid every 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks, you make that payment automatically without you receiving the statement. You don't need the statement. If you're a smart, trained consumer, you don't need a statement. You know you spent $800 buying a coat and a shoe and all of that. And you know you can afford $200, $250 every payday, and you'll have it paid and there will be no interest. So this is how a lot of cultures do that. I know I cannot say the name publicly, but I know one culture that does it like that. But I have always told people to do that. I learned it while looking at the bank, looking at my numbers, and I said, yeah, you have 7 weeks to pay this thing. Why not pay them 3 times? You have 3 paydays in 7 weeks plus another payday coming up. You can cover that lickety split. And so that is the most important date on your credit thing on your credit card is the date. Because if you know that and you follow that plan I just gave you, you are actually using the bank's money for free. You have no interest on it. So the interest, like you said, the interest rate, you cannot control the interest rate. You agree to use the card, so you have to control, you have to take it, but you can control when you shop. So you have to. So that is the biggest secret. That is the most important one. You will never have a balance with compound interest on it ever if you follow my method.
Wow, I am definitely going to follow that. And then you said another component is gather and prepare all financial statements, pay stub, credit cards, bills, household expenses, etc. You tell us about that one.
Okay.
Those expenses and those journals.
When you're going to do your sustainable financial spending plan, it's not a budget. When you hear, or any one of us in this universe, we hear the word budget, right away we think of restrictions and tightness and what we can't have. We never think of what we can do. The first time I did it is when my cousin, we were going to the Roy Thompson Hall for something, and she said, I said, are you going to go to the next show? No, I can't. You know I'm on a budget. And I said, okay. So it's not that she has a budget, but the thought of the budget does not give her room to maneuver. So I said to her, well, why don't I teach you how to prepare a spending plan? And I created it myself. One of the things we are told, everybody, pay yourself first. Nobody teaches you how to pay yourself first. No, I am not a titan. I am one of you. I am a person who started from scratch. When I started, all we could save, and I've said it millions of times, was $1.75 a week. That's my husband and I. This is the root that gave us this house that I'm sitting in today. Without that $1.75 savings, I wouldn't own anything. So I'm not a titan. I know the stuff, but I started and I scratched the bottom and came up. That's why I have the right and the authority to teach it. I've been there. So what I'm going to tell you is, when you say to pay yourself first and you need the spending plan, the first thing that goes on the sustainable financial spending plan is savings. And if you cannot make the other bills, you have to make changes in the other bills. You do not change the savings. The savings is how you honor yourself. It's a debt you owe to yourself. You are working. You need to pay yourself first. So it must be at the top of your page, right next to your name and your date. Ellen Savings Retirement, Ellen Savings Vacation, Ellen Savings Birthday Gifts for Children, and Ellen Savings for Christmas. And it does not have to be huge, people. It does not have to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The thing is that it's a plant. We started with a small seed and it will grow if we keep putting more on top of it. I did $1.75. So we will look at you right from the top and I say, okay, you need to save $50 a pay. And you might say, that's not a lot, but no, Ellen, that's where you're starting, $50 a pay. $10 it is going into the vacation. $10 is in the Christmas and birthday. $10 is in Ellen's entertainment for pizza night. And you just keep putting $10 every payday, but you have 26 paydays. So you have, all of a sudden, you have 5 accounts with 26 paydays of $10 in each of these 5 accounts. Each of them have 260. Multiply 260 by 5. 5 6 is 30. Twice 5 is 10 and 3. Look at how much money you have saved. You never had that before. So it doesn't mean it has to be big, but it must be there. And as your income increases or as you pay off a debt, I get you to shift that debt you paid into your savings, debt into your savings. Because if you do not have savings, that's when you get into the debt spiral and you just keep opening the debt every time you get a hiccup. So that's how you pay yourself first. And that's what a spending plan. There is no room on a budget sheet that you pick up on the computer on Google. It's at the bottom. So that tells you, you're not worthy. You're not honored. But I'm teaching you to honor yourself. The whole world tells you to pay yourself first. No one cares to teach you how to do this.
That is so true.
You
A
have
wealth of information. I love talking to you, Tessa. So that pretty much tell us, like in that summary, how a journal ready, have a journal ready to record. So that would pretty much, I'm sorry, I'm getting back noise.
No, that's okay.
And that would pretty much tell us how to do our journal.
Yeah, because you start with savings and then you put your rent, your mortgage, and the savings is not big, but it has to be there. Rent and mortgage is huge and everything else, and car payment, all of these things is huge. But you honor them. After you honor, that's $50. It's not much. And you feel better because if you have never saved for 5 years and you're able to save $1,050 for 5 years, you suddenly have $5,000 and $1,200 sitting there. So you can do it, but you need to honor it. You need to know. And I'll give you a little tip because I know soon you'll be telling me goodbye, but yeah, I have so much to give you.
Yeah,
so,
we have an hour. We at 8:31. We have an hour.
Oh, we have time. So while we're on this, pay yourself first, I will teach you one trick. So it doesn't matter if you make $110,000 a year. This point of it is that you can still bring your pay to an hourly rate. You can. It's very simple to do. So let's say you're a $40,000 person. I'm going to do it on the computer. So if you have on the phone, so if you have a calculator, follow with me so you can see how to do it. We are here to teach you to be successful. So take $40,000, that's your annual rate. And you know that you work a 40-hour week. So you're going to divide this thing to find out how much you make in a week by 52 weeks. So 40,000 divide by 52. So that tells me your income is $769.23 before taxes. So that's a week. So now you work a 40-hour week. Most people work 35, 37, but just for easy, I'll use 40. Divide that by 40, and it tells me you are paid $19.23 an hour. Now, pay yourself first is to always aim that the first hour you work every day should be saved. So that means you would be saving $96.15 a week. You notice I carry the cent. I don't round anything up. The credit card company, the dollar store, nobody rounds it up. So you shouldn't either. So that is $96.15 you should save. But you're going to look at me and you're going to say to me, Tessa Marie, we cannot save $96 a week. So I'll say, okay, so let's divide that by 2. Can you save $48 a week? No, we can't. So we are going to go down again. 24 every week? No, we can't. Divide it again. $12 a week, Tessa Marie, it's really tough. Divide it again. $6 a week, and you will still tell me, oh my God, there's people that will tell me, no, they can't. But what I'm trying to take you down to is where I started. So it's $3 now. And that means you'd be saving $12 in a month, but you might say to me, that's nothing. But that is why I am who I am today, because I started with $1.75 a week. So it might look like a little bit to you, but when this thing called Murphy shows up at the door, if it's going to happen, the Murphy's Law situation, we call it emergency. So many times, and many big gurus tell you, if you have credit card debt, do not save. I disagree with them. Because if you do not save and concentrate on paying the credit card, you will end up in what I call the debt spiral. So you owe money and you are concentrating, and it's a circle this big. And year 1, it comes down, it's smaller. Year 2, it's smaller. Year 3, it's smaller. And all of a sudden, Mr. Emergency shows up at the bottom crying, and it's a big mouth, and you need to fill it. But you had a little savings account over on the right side, and you did not put any money in there. But just think about it. If every week you had put $20 times 52 times the 3 years, you would have $3,100 in there, just $20 a week. While you're paying down the debt on the left, you're increasing the tiny dot. So the debt is going this way, counterclockwise, it's getting smaller. The savings is going on the outside and it's going, right? So there would be $3,100. In most emergencies, it's $2,000 in a family. If you do not have that $3,100 there, guess what you do? You pick up that credit card to take care of that emergency because you have no savings over there. And once you have done that, you have that credit card in your hand and it's itching you. You haven't used it for 3 years. Oh, Johnny wants a pair of skates and Susie needs a dolly. And I need a new coat and a boot. Look at the coat and honey, you can really do it for new winter. And before you know it, you have opened that circle as big as it was 3 years ago. But if you had the money sitting over there to take care of Murphy's Law, this unexpected emergency, you would have 1 year left to pay off that credit card. So you must have both. Otherwise, you would end up in the debt spiral again. And the second time, many of you can attest to this, that credit that was maybe $2,000 will go up to $3,000 before you realize you should block that card away. So these are the things that I teach really well and I help people to get, because I'm passionate to make you healthy, financially healthy.
Yes, yes. That brings us to 2, and this is a wealth of information. You know, I told you before when I met you on Instagram, I can just sit right by you, probably lay my head on your shoulder or your lap if you allow. But yeah, I love listening to you. I told you I was going to hold on to you. I am holding on to you. And
I'm very happy if you do, because my job is to make people healthy, financially healthy. So you can go out there with power, knowing that what you want, so no one can pull the wool over your eye, because everybody's going to do this. You know, they're
yes, I can't wait.
They're not.
I can't wait to journal in here. Yes, I can't wait to journal in here. And I'm glad you left us with some blank pages. And remember, I told you I had to breathe. I had to breathe before I read that one.
You have your paper.
Yes.
Your second
Your second chapter says realization. So Angela and Lucas, they had 1 week and they were on their first meeting with you. And that's when we talked about that food and how they got together. So you can tell us about that, the overview of that, and then we'll go to their summary on page 11. But in there, you know, we talked about the Chinese food. We talked about how they were discouraged. They were discouraged, and they they had fallen prey to their own debt. And then you had Angela. You told them to first they must establish how much money, and that's when everything went crazy. So tell us about that when you said that, and you kind of sort of talked about it. Establishing how much money you want to earn after taxes. And you kind of showed us that with the example you did here. And you talked about whether it's going to be bi-weekly or weekly on that. And then set aside the expense, assuming that you also have separated the expenses. Now that was Lucas.
You have to separate the expenses for you to bring it together. You have to know how you're being paid. And the thing about, I have a check in here. Wow. Not a good one, it's just a check. You have to have the expenses brought down to how you get paid. That is what I was referring to in there. What page are you looking at? I think that's what it was. Do you know?
I am looking at page 8.
Page 8. Okay.
At the bottom where it said, let's begin first. First, we must establish how much money you
earn after tax, because that is the amount you have to live on. So a lot of people look at they don't realize that what goes into their pay account is after tax money. So if you come to me and you say to me, Tessa Marie, I make $20 an hour, I have to ask you, is that before tax or after tax? But some people do not even know the difference between before and after tax. So that means they're not aware of money. And if I ask, well, how much is deposited in your checking account or your pay account at the bank? $1,200. So I said, $1,200. Do they pay you in cash? No. They made all of the things. And I said, okay. So I said, since most tax rates are gradual, there is no way after taxes, it will be a round number. It must have something hanging at the end. It can be $1,198.97, but it is still not $1,200. So you have to know the exact amount and when you get paid. Every 2 weeks, bi-weekly is every other weeks. Every 2 weeks is maybe every twice a month, semi-monthly and monthly, and of course, weekly. So when do you get paid and how much is your net pay? The gross is before taxes, the net is after taxes. And that is the amount you must concentrate on, because that is the amount all of your expenses, including your savings, which is an expense, a debt you owe yourself, has to go into. And the balance has to be zero. So when you put your expenses into your income, you should not have a surplus or you should not have a deficit. So a surplus is you paid everything and you have savings, but you have money left over. So now your financial planner, is going to say, let us see where we can put that money. We want to build that nest egg. But if when you pay, your pay goes into your expenses, goes into your pay. So your expenses goes into your pay and your expenses are more than your pay, then we have a deficit. And I have to now guide you through decreasing eating out, decreasing hydro. Do you have the lights on and never shut them all day, all night? Is the heat at 90 degrees and you're walking around in shorts? Why? So maybe you should try shopping from the pantry or from the freezer, the fridge, first before you go shopping. We need to find out where we can get money to balance that spending plan. So that's why I go through that exercise on page 8 with them. First, you have to know how much you make and what is your net pay, what goes into your bank account. That's why I was so persistent on that.
Also, like on page 9, we see where Angela and Lucas, they are planning to meet with you so that they can do their financial planning, but they kind of break down. They don't really want to give you true times and dates to come and do this. They are in a great panic. So tell us about that, being frightened and confused about what they should do when they come to this appointment to finally sit down and talk about some financial planning.
Okay. So what I do when someone comes to me for me to get them ready for a fulfilled life, I ask them to come to me with 5 things they want to achieve in their life. 5 desires. So that is the carrot. So when Lucas and Angela were behaving that way, I had a list of what they wanted to accomplish. They wanted to own their own home. They wanted to drive cars of their choice. They also wanted to go on 2 or 3 vacations a year, put money in a 401k and a retirement account, and do not have any debt, be debt free. So that was their goal. These were their 5 goals. So I had to constantly wave the carrots in front of them and say, listen, man, you cannot get across the river to these things if you do not paddle through the mud. I need to know everything. And you have to come together as a team. And that's how I just constant. And they are not unusual at all, because they do not understand this journey that I am taking them on. And the only thing, that's why I give them this opportunity to develop what it is you desire. But that can be very difficult, Ellen. People will come with a desire, their desire will read of what they don't want. So I can't use that, because they will say to me, Tessa Marie, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be like my father and my mom. I don't want to never go on a vacation. Do you know my parents never left the continent? Do you know they never had money? Did you know my dad was a gambler? I said, well, I didn't ask you about your father or your mother. I don't care about them. To be honest with you, I don't care. And that's how I speak. What I need from you is what you want for you.
Yes.
So stop blaming them. That was their life, and you were just somebody that lived there that was homeless anyway. So you got the best that they could give you. So now it's your turn to do the best for yourself. And that's how I talk to them.
That was awesome at that. And so again, I'm going to show you, and we're going to go over the summary. We still have more time.
Yes.
Those of you that are watching, we're talking about
it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, Controlling the Debt Monster. And this is a journey that we all want to take. I'm so happy I found you on Instagram and that we talked about this book. So on page 11, it talks about their summary there on page 11. On the first page of your journal, list your income, and you already talked about this, before tax and employer deduction. So yes. Tell us about that.
Okay, so you must list your income. You list your income. So on page 11, when I said, this is the exercise I've asked you to do. I said, looking at her with serious, you know how I did it. I said, that's concluded our meeting. I said, so now you have to go and look at your income. Break it down before taxes and look at it after taxes. So you have an idea of what tax you pay. How much is your tax rate? And then I explained to them, if you have that information, and you have it done properly, the net amount when it goes in. And some people will say to me, but Tessa Marie, it's never the same. I know it's never the same, but it's not too far off, and we can get close to it if we work it together. So that's why, because some pays, for example, union dues is taken, 401k deductions are taken, the other one doesn't do that. But at the end of the day, you have those two amounts. That's all you have to live on. I do not know. So what we would do when we do the spending plan, the purpose for that exercise is to make sure that we pay certain things coming from that account at that time. Because we do not, even if the amount is less than the following pay, I still need deductions to be made from there to pay certain bills and responsibilities and do not overlap the amount of money that's coming in. So for example, if you have to pay, let's say, your phone bill, but it's too, if you put your phone bill and other expenses in that one pay, it will be over and you'll be in a mess. So what I'll say, this payday, you do it online. You send $80 to them, and the next payday, $20, but it will be paid before the due date because you're doing everything. So there's an exercise I prepare you to do, which is take your monthly bills and that you must pay monthly and calculate them on a bi-weekly basis. And it's so easy to do, but it's when to do it. When you are paid every 2 weeks bi-weekly, you have 2 extra pays in the year. And when the 2 months of the year where there are 3 pay periods. So realistically, for that to work, one of those pay periods has to have the amount of money for that pay period sitting in the bank. And once you have that in place, you can just flip it like this, and it's magic after that. So that's why I need that all that information. And I teach you the formula. I don't just do the formula. I give you the formula and I teach you how to convert a monthly bill to a bi-weekly bill. And so if you had some savings and your bi-weekly bills total $1,200, I would say, Ellen, let's take $1,200 from the savings and put in your checking account. That's your cushion. So you are always one payment ahead on your bills, one payment ahead. So my sister, I got her to do that, and she's in the state of Ellison. Every December, they would send her back a check for a month because she paid every 2 weeks. So she paid 13, you have 13, when you get paid bi-weekly, you have 13 months in a year instead of 12 months because you're paid 26 times, not 24 times. So she was always happy to get a check for $200 and she said, good, I'm going to go buy this. She said, I'm saving with Con Edison. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah, so these are the tricks I show you. It's strictly written for the inexperienced financial person to get you started. That's why it is written in story form.
I love it. I love it written in story form because with it being that way, it gives me some character idea. And I know that I wouldn't have to put myself specifically as the character, although I am joint to the character that you're speaking of. Yes. And so, like I told you earlier, is that when we start talking about Angela and Lucas, the first thing when you said, show me your bills, and they come in with, like you say, with the big food. And so when you said they came in the door, in my mind, when you told them to come, I thought that they were going to have a big bag of bills in their hand.
They got food.
Before I could read that they had food, I was like, oh, here they come with the big bag of bills in it. And automatically I thought about when I had got my taxes done. And I remember talking to you and you guys, that seminar, when you ever have them, do tell them about that. But I thought about when I had that big old bag and I had my all my stuff from 2015 up to 2019, and I had a big old bag, and she said she didn't care how I brought it in, just go get it. And I end up getting, I guess, 500 back from there. And I was like, what? She went through all my stuff stitch by stitch, a paper bag, a trash bag full. And so I thought about that. That's the way they were going to come with the bills to you. And so this story here, it when you guys read it, it puts you right in the mind of journaling and being serious about your finances and being true, right down to the bubble gum. And you mentioned it again. Yes, right down to the bubble gum. Whatever you buy, write it down, whether it's bubble gum, whether you went out to eat. And that becomes frightening too, because
Yes,
we don't
because
want you to know what we did.
no, and the thing is, you forget so many things that you swiped,
Yes.
and then there's money missing, and you don't know what you spent it. That became a big headache for them.
Yeah.
The money was missing, and I said that is miscellaneous. These are the things you haven't recorded because you do them so automatically that you
Yeah.
record them. So that money is called miscellaneous. It's somewhere there. So that's why you go through the exercise of writing everything you purchase for the month, everything. And in doing that, you will see where you're lax, how impulsive you are. Because the supermarket has your number. They know our number. That's why all the magazine, the glossy magazine, and all the snack foods and gums and all of these things are at the checkout. So you just take them and you toss it on the counter without thinking.
Yes, that's so true.
And then it's really not, and maybe you just wanted to see the front of the magazine. You didn't want to read all the other stuff. And 96% of it is ads. But you're paying $8, $9 for something that you are not going to use. So but they know that, and they're not in your favor. There are two people that do not work for you. Your person at the bank who wants to give you all the credit products and sell you all the different things. They're working for themselves and their bonuses, and they have a quota which they must fill. The supermarket, they make pennies on groceries. The only way they make money is at the things that are at eye level. Because that company, the manufacturer of Tide and all these foods that are right at eye level, pay for that shelf space. And they pay mightily for that shelf space.
Wow.
That is why many times you're in a supermarket and you say, can I help you? Oh, no, I'm not from there. I'm just stocking the things.
Yes, I hear that. Yeah.
And that's why the company pays the supermarket chain for that price, that shelf that is here. That's the one that's the most costly shelves. Those at the bottom are not at the lowest, because people do not want to bend to pick up these things, or they do not want to stretch to get it. So that's how they make their money. It's not on the groceries. They do not make money on the groceries.
Wow.
As they come to fill the shelf, they make more money. So they want you to buy it. That's what happens.
This is a wealth of information. I love talking to you. Candace is out there. Candace, do you have any questions or anything? She's watching. I don't know who else. I can't see the screen, but we're coming up on our time. I told you an hour is really quick.
It goes there.
Yeah. And so again, tell the folks where they can reach you, all of your platforms that you're on, what you have coming up, your seminar things. This is the time to do that.
Okay, so this is what is going on. I am having a seminar in April, the 9th and the 10th of April. It's 3 hours both days, and you have 6 hours. And that is where you're going to prepare a sustainable financial spending plan, because many people do not have one, and they are a mess. And COVID, it was even worse because they had no money allocated all over to do things. So we're doing that. And also I am on TikTok. I do TikTok, I do Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So I'm all over the place, and I do a lot of reels and stories, and they're short, and on TikTok. And I talk about in the morning blessings, and in the evening, I talk about things like that, finance. I also do the 5 pillars of prosperity, which is mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and financial prosperity. If any one of the pillars are broken, like the fingers on your hand, then you can't grasp a glass with 4 fingers. You need the thumb.
Yes.
So if you're emotionally and you're getting into emotion stuff at work, and you cannot do your work, and then your mentally it affects you because you can't retain the information to apply. Then you get fired, you lose your job, you have no money, you stay at home, you start eating, you lose you gain weight, and then your body's not your friend anymore, and all of those things. So without, you must have your emotional health in place, your spiritual health and mental health, which is how you, it's not the crazy, I'm not referring to the craziness, I'm referring, when I talk about emotional health especially, is how you react to the information or these things that is happening to you or around you. It's strictly your reaction. So if your supervisor or somebody's telling you off and you blow off, that is your reaction. So I'm teaching you how to manage that. Mentally, it's not losing your mind, it's forgetting how to apply the stuff you have studied to be able to be successful at doing what you do. So if you are an emotional wreck, you will also do mental stuff, not retaining information, not remembering to pay a bill, not getting to work on time, doing things like that. And then your physical health suffers because you're not taking care of yourself, you're not eating right, you're not getting sufficient sleep, you're not functioning. All of those come together, and I have people who are telling me because they're Christian, money is evil. So that is spiritual. Yeah, that's spiritual good. The camel, you have to be poor to go to heaven. Or they do not want to be rich. They want to be comfortable. But I found out to be comfortable, you need to be rich. So their finances take a hit and they can't pay rent. It's just, so that's why the 5 pillars are important. So I'm on all the platforms. So you can always find me. I'm the Tessa Marie on Instagram, the 5 pillars of prosperity on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, the Tessa Marie Facebook, and the Controlling the Debt Monster has its own Facebook page. So you can check us out there. And Morning Blessing has its own page.
It does. Is it on Facebook? Controlling the
yeah, it's either Debt
on Facebook?
Yeah, and I post things on there. I post everything on it because it all comes together.
So what chapter are you on? Did you just start it with it? Because I need to catch up.
No, I didn't put the book on. I'm going to do that. But
okay, good. That'll give me a chance to do that daily with you.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to create the book. It's created. It's just to get everybody together who wants to do this, and it's difficult.
Well, I want to do it because I have it. You remember in the seminar, I wanted to do it because we have it.
Okay, well,
yes, I enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I mean, I had a wonderful time.
You did the seminar on the taxes. Did you learn something from that?
I learned a wealth of stuff, and I went telling folks off of that little glimpse that I knew. They say, I need to do that. I said, well, we need to go back again with Tessa. And it was not draining. It was a long time, but it went quick. It was long and quick, if that makes any sense.
2 hours. It's 2 hours, but I make it so you can relate to what's going on.
Yes.
That's the thing. I don't teach from a titan. I'm not a Tony Robbins. I am you. I am your twin. I have been there, and I'm teaching you at that level. I maybe don't know. I never experienced poverty, but I know what to do to get out of it. If you are a person that's in it, I can show you things that you can do. And that's what it is, because at the end of the day, if you do not have the money to buy the things you want to buy, it's very frustrating, and that makes it harder. And you have to start somewhere. You always start somewhere. But it's not taught in school, certainly not taught at home.
It's not this.
In the school could not give you sufficient time to make you good at it. It would have to be, that's what you went to school from junior kindergarten to grade 10.
Yes. Well, thank you, Tessa Marie. This has been a wealth of those do swipe and share and swipe. And this book, it really, I mean, do not try to do it like a novel, although it is like, give you that novel feel, but you will learn from it. And Tessa, I'm going to write my stuff down. I'm scared.
No, write down and get in touch with me. Write down and get in touch with me. I will take you through it. Trust me.
And then when you get that page, do tell us that you have that page up, and I will follow. Do we have to tell our numbers on Facebook Live? Do we have to talk about it?
About what?
About when we do.
No, it should be just When you're doing the spending plan, you don't talk your numbers. I'm taking you through the journey. Everybody is on it with you. I do not,
Yes.
if you need private and something you don't understand, then I arrange with you to do a private Zoom call
Okay.
that you can split it. But it will be so well described that you will understand what you need to do.
Okay,
It
awesome.
becomes difficult when you're not honest with yourself and somebody is not honest with themselves because, oh, I don't really want to know, try to know, but I don't care. That's not my job
Okay, good.
My job is to make you, it's like you're sick financially.
Okay,
And
I'm going to calm down.
Yes, you have
I
to calm down.
I do have some financial ickies. You know
Well,
how they
yeah,
have the
you're
fish
just,
that get the ickies?
yeah, but that's what I mean. So you're financially sick. My job is to make you healthy
Yes.
so that you can become wealthy. So I do not, most people, you go to planners want to make you wealthy, but you're not ready to be wealthy because you're sick. You're not healthy.
Yes.
You have debts like ickies, things that you need to understand to pay, to how to pay them, how to control those urges and all the compulsion that people get, because that's what the marketing is doing to us.
Yes.
So there are millions of people who will want to make you wealthy. And there are very few people like me who wants to take the time to make you healthy. So that's why I chose being healthy.
That is the truth. And just a few times that I've been with you, and I love the morning shows and having that class that you had, that Saturday class.
Oh, it was great.
It makes me feel so good, Tessa. Thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
this book, for developing this book. Thank you for making it simple. Simplicity is best. Please. And I will be journeying through this. You will get a review for me. It's going to take a little bit. No, I'm going to go through it. So you will get one from me. And I really appreciate you, Tessa.
Thank you so much. But I do, you know what? It's something I know you have it recorded, but I must say that it's not often that we help each other, we Black people. It's not often that we step up and say, I want to do something with you. So I really feel honored that you took the time to give me that time to do this. Yes. It's really an honor, because if there's one person out there that heard us tonight, and that one person had a thought and think and made an effort, whether they bought the book or not, or whether they just changed one thing that they're doing financially, then I am happy. That is one thing I'm really happy about. So thank you so much for giving me this platform. Thank you. And I appreciate you for giving me this platform to come out and talk about a book that is so near and dear to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's put it up so they can see it.
Yay, hell
yes. I know mine has a glare, but thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll see you.
I love you unto life, even though I just met you. I love you.
Too. You know, I appreciate you a lot. I've told you that from the time you came on the lights, but I realize you're very busy and you do this all the time. So that's kind of great. Good luck. Thank you. And how long have you been doing this?
14 years, but not on the media, but at going to hotels and setting up and all those things. But this is new to me, the media. Before pandemic made it happen like this.
Yeah.
So I'd say 4 years, about four years. Because we was doing Zoom a little bit before the pandemic. Now it's forced in full-fledged where Zoom is used for its proper use. Yeah, because right now I am in the process of finding someone who can do some part-time work for me to get me the speaking engagements, to do the, the digging and to say, and I have a speaker and stuff like that. So that's what. Oh, that would be great. I'm trying to find someone, whether I do them on Zoom or in some cases I go in person since the world is coming up. I used to, but things have changed so much. And on the media is actually better. They have so many teams and all different types of media. Well, we can certainly talk and do something to the side and get some people, because this is great. It will be. Thank you so much. I will talk with you when we're ready, when we have some time. Yes. When we have some time, definitely. I'm going to be getting my list together. Okay, that will be good. I'm looking forward to that. So thank you so much. I'm a runner. When somebody tell me something and I believe in their idea and I believe I'm a dream pusher, And so I believe in the dream, and I believe you to do this because you've done it, because I had a taste of it. And so that was dear to me. And I just ran my little tiny mouth from what I little know. And I think that we all should do this again. And
yes,
so if it means, like you say, and I know this is live, if it means you and I get together and do something and talk about whatever, and
yes.
get those people online, those people
Mhm.
who really want us, that it costs
Change
so
their
much
life.
money to have this class like this. You and
Yeah.
I can talk on the sideline about that, and we'll do that. We'll
Yeah,
make it happen.
because there's so many times like some people I have such huge prices, and that's why I never charge. I'll tell you one of the things why. I'm thinking, well, if you're in a mess, why am I making you pay me?
Yes, yes.
I just want you to fix your stuff.
And we can do it. We could
You know,
talk about it offline when you're ready, when you have that
anytime we
space, when you have that space for me,
I
and we can
always
talk
have
about
space.
it.
I always make space for helping. So anytime we'll do that. So that will
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do
okay. So
that.
thank you, my darling. I kept you up all night. It's 9 o'clock. So
Yes.
nice. Thank you.
All
Thank
right. Thank you
you so much.
so much, Tessa
Enjoyed it.
Marie.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
I
Bye-bye.
hope I left you with a diamond.
You left us with a diamond, a jade, a onyx, a ruby, all of that.
Thank you, and have a wonderful night.
You
Take care.
too.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Just drop yourself down. Thank you guys so much. Oh, thank you so much for being here. That was a wealth of information. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see. I'm doing the most. But thank you guys. That was Tessa Marie Shillingford, and we had a wonderful time with her book. Also, get ready. We will still talk to Melvina Gray. We're talking about her beloved husband's book, The Willie Gray Story. He suffered from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and he did pass from that. So we do a little glimpse out of the book of what his beloved wife went through, and she wants to keep his story alive. And we will be coming back on the next week on the 21st. For those of you out there who've seen Mary Ellen Sinovich, she wasn't feeling well that time. She's going to come back on the 21st, and we'll get a chance to talk to her. And that is True Lives. So we'll talk about that. And on Tuesday, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do the Scout Out Shout Out. That's when we give an author 2 minutes or less, and they discuss their book, their characters, where they're from. And so we do that. And today we had a wonderful time with Pastor Danielle Scroggins. And so you guys can watch that replay. We also talked with Omar Tyree, and we talked about his a little bit. He's doing a HBCUs. They asked a little question on that. He gave us a glimpse about that. And we also now starting the first episode of The American Disease. And so stay tuned for that. You can upload that, and we'll talk about it on Instagram. So get your book now. Go to Amazon and look for The American Disease. And that's by Omar Tyree. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm trying to see what else. I think that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for watching. Do swipe and share. Do share that wonderful information about tonight's show. You guys have been great. Great, great, great. And good night to you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.